today?
Ball was coming out hot, hitting his spots, and fastball command was outstanding. Was able to elevate when he had to, throw the slider off it when he needed to, but for the most part, just did a great job working ahead of hitters. And it's a lot easier to pitch when you're working ahead versus behind. So hats off to him. That was an unbelievable performance by him, and he pretty much saved us tonight on a otherwise pretty dismal performance.
You told us last week about the effort that you saw in the pitching. Did you feel that effort was different tonight despite a lot of similar struggles offensively?
I think the desire for our guys is certainly there to want to play well. But there's times where I guess I question the mental focus, I guess, more than anything, just on watching the game and seeing how they're pitching us and making an adjustment to it. That's got to be better. And there's times where even I'll come as far as just saying, hey, they're throwing you this early in the count, make it be up and go ahead and go. And they just kind of sit and watch it go by and get behind in the count. And offense has got to be better. But I believe they can be. I've seen what they're capable of. I know hitting is contagious, and right now we have some big guns in our lineup that aren't swinging the bat as well as the way they want. But I believe when they get going, this offense will catch fire. That's my goal and my hope, because I know what they're capable of, and they're a lot better than what they've been showing.
Hunter's rolling like that. I mean, no question of just going back out on the ninth for you.
We had thought about it, but Sammy and I talked, and I just said I'm like, man, the ball is still coming out hot. Like, why are we gonna, take the? We had Ben Jacobs ready to go. He's been outstanding for us, but I'm like, the way the ball is coming out of Hunter, they're not seeing it off him. Why are we changing right now? I mean, let's just stick with him, and we'll have Benny ready just in case things get hot next inning. But I felt really good with how he was throwing the ball. I didn't have any, even when did he walk the leadoff guy or in the ninth?
That was the only.
Okay, that was the only walk. I mean, even after he walked that guy, you could tell he just missed a spot or whatever. And there was a couple prior to that thought maybe he might have been rung up on, but ball was still coming out really well. I had confidence in him that he was going to do well the rest of the way.
Given the length of his outing tonight, do you think he could play himself into a couple spot starts later in the season?
Throws like that, heck yeah. Shoot, I'm begging for another starter to step up. So he threw the ball outstanding. We stretched him out probably more than we wanted to tonight, but he's a strong kid. He's a senior. He knows that what he's capable of doing. And like I said, I didn't see any breakdown in mechanics, any breakdown in just the life on the ball coming out of his hand. And I'm just going to keep riding with him. And he said he felt great. And, that was one of those situations that you trust your guy and let him keep going.
With Hunter being so experienced, he's been in this situation a few months started before, and he has experience stretching it out. For younger guys and a lot of freshmen in the bullpen who are still trying to, find their way and being able to stretch it to that next level, how is it more difficult for these younger guys, and how can they kind of break through that challenge early on?
Well, I think the younger guys are still learning, how to pitch and what makes them successful, and I think just the mindset of going hitter to hitter and not losing that fatigue, or not allowing your mindset to get fatigued and let down. Okay, I got 2 quick outs, and then all of a sudden you walk a guy a base hit, now you're in deep trouble. Just taking every hitter the same way and finding that consistent rhythm and routine that Hunter showed tonight. Those guys can learn a lot from that.
You said that he felt rushed kind of going in, because you said it was perhaps maybe earlier than when he was expected to get the call. Just what can other pitchers kind of take from maturity to kind of walk in so quickly and then go out and have an outing like he did today?
Coach is crazy. Be ready to go in any time. I don't know. I tell these guys, you never know when I'm going to call on you. Be ready to go. They all should be ready from pitch one, and never be, I guess, taken off guard or that was a situation of the game where we felt that Hunter's going to have success against these guys and plan on getting an inning or two out of him and then maybe turn it over to Ben or Schieffer had been throwing the ball really well. But the way Hunter was throwing, it's like, we're just going to keep going, and see how far we can stretch him. And he kept, every inning, it seemed to get better and better. So, but bottom line is be ready to go. We've asked our guys to be ready to go from the first pitch of the game to never know what we're going to call on you.
During some of these mental lulls at the plate, it can be hard to work out of. How would you say this group can kind of work out of that and, no matter the physical effort, like trying to work out that mental state?
Well, I think it starts a lot between the ears, just on what you're trying to do with the approach and things you're looking to do as a hitter. And, once you start losing confidence, it becomes, hitting's already tough as it is, but once you start losing confidence, it becomes a lot tougher and tougher and tougher, and it snowballs on you. And I think we got a handful of guys that are in that right now a little bit, trying to press and get out of it. But I've been there. I spent most of my career there, trying to press and get out of it. But at the end of the day, these guys are very talented kids, but they still have to learn the mindset of what it takes to be a good hitter across the board. And I'm confident they will. I know the tools and the talent are there. It's just we have to get rolling, and they will. They just have to simplify things and hit to an approach. And I think hopefully some of these guys will start heating up a little bit.
What do you think about the plate discipline tonight? Obviously, drew 10 walks, pretty above average for the team this season.
It was okay. Respectfully, a lot of those were really out of the zone. And I think, at one point in time we looked up, we had, I think, 4 or 5 runs and 1 hit. And it's just like, hey, they're giving us runs, guys. What are we doing? And they're controlling one pitch for a strike, a backdoor slider, and we don't see that. Pay attention to the game. Understand that's the only pitch you can throw for a strike. And you say that before they go up to bat, and then they look at you like you have 2 heads. So I don't know whether or not they know that, but just are having a hard time executing it, or don't believe what I'm saying. I don't know. But we got to get better, and I know these guys are trying. The effort level has been outstanding. They're in the cages working tirelessly, but at some point in time, I think we just got to simplify and stay aggressive to what we're trying to do.
Do you think that some of those mental struggles offensively have sharpened specifically the bullpen, knowing that they don't have a lot of room to work with, giving up runs?
I'm not sure. I do know that if we could ever put it all together on both sides of it, on the flickers that we've shown, we got shot to be pretty good. Because there's been times where this offense has been lights out. There's been times where the starting pitching's been lights out, and there's been times where the bullpen's been lights out. So the potential is there if we can put it all together. And I've kind of made reference to that we just haven't hit on all cylinders yet. Which is okay, but hopefully we hit on all cylinders as the season progresses, and we, get firing when it becomes crunch time, toward the end of this thing, and hopefully into the, and hesitate saying postseason, but obviously that's the goal. But if we can get hot going into that, then hey, we'll be a dangerous team.
I know you can't necessarily speak from personal experience pitching wise, but looking at Tyler and coming off an injury like he did last season and trying to work back from that, how difficult was that to overcome moving into the next season and trying to get back into the same rhythm he once was?
Well, this is baseball is extremely humbling, and when you come off, I've seen a lot of guys throughout my career. I've never pitched, but I've seen a lot of pitchers that have come off major injuries, with Tommy John or shoulder surgery like this, that they continually just get beat down from a standpoint of they feel healthy, but they just don't have the feel back yet. And they want to be good, and it usually takes, as much as nobody wants to hear, it usually takes a year back after that of pitching before you actually get to all the feel back and the velo back, everything back. You can see the velo's back. You can see the stuff is there. But I know he gets frustrated because he's not putting it where he wants, and he just can't find that feel on the finish. At times it's better, but the consistently is up and down all the time, and that's normal. Tyler's such a great kid and has worked so hard. I continue to run him out there because the kid deserves it, and he's one of our better options. And I believe he's going to get it. So, it is, I guess, humbling and frustrating at the same time being in those shoes. But, I continue to try and encourage him and continue to battle and grind through it. He's been through a lot of adversity, and he just is a super kid that is, he's not giving in, and we still got faith in him and believe in him. And I think by the end of this year, it's going to all click for him, and he's going to be back to better than he was before.
What did you see mentally out of Hunter in the ninth inning with everyone who came up, really going after him deep into counts, especially the last batter, really battling with him, but he eventually was able to get the final out?
I love the fact that he just kept, here it is, hit it. There were a couple of times Sammy called slider and he swiped. No, I want the heater, and I'm going right after these guys. So to me, that tells me he's in the right frame of mind and is not pitching scared. He's coming after him. He knows his fastball has life on it, and he was going to go with it. And to me, that was there was the last hitter there. I think it was the 2-1-2 pitch. The kid was late, but he started catching up to it. Hit a line drive just foul. We went fastball again, or slider, and then we wanted another slider, but Hunter went fastball. Like, oh boy, this is the one pitch that I want him to throw a slider. And he threw the heater up. The kid was on it, but he took it, and then he threw him a 3-2 slider and fooled him. So, but other than that one pitch, he was convicted in what he wanted to do, which was great.
What does that say about the confidence of your bullpen? That they came in pretty young, but now they're getting to the point where guys like Hunter are starting to know themselves really, really well.
Well, I think, Hunter's, obviously today's performance is outstanding. Ryan Schieffer's been stepping up big time. Ben Jacobs has been stepping up big time. That's what we need. We're going to need a couple, 2 or 3 more of those guys to step up. And if we can do that, all of a sudden you start going, wow, this bullpen's starting to take shape. We got some good options to go to. Now, if we can continue to get some length out of the starters, we got options to go to, which is nice. It starts taking shape. So, it's a good thing that some of these, in this case, older guys, Hunter is stepping up, and Fitzy's stepping up and understanding he's doing a good job in his situational roles. Matt Teeding, continues to do just fine in his role. So we'll keep piecing this thing together until we get the right mix.
On the offensive side, I know you said that obviously go up there with a clear head, and then Brandon just said, one hit away from like that big inning and just passing the bat along. But in your eyes, obviously from going through it in your career as a hitter, what's that fine line between the clear mind and not trying to just press to get that hit?
You can't be results oriented. You have to just go put together good at bats. And to me, it's sticking with the plan, sticking with an approach. If you start thinking about, I got to get a hit, I got to do this, got to do that, you're not hitting with the clear head. And again, I spent a lot of my career thinking I got to get a hit, and that's what drove me absolutely nuts at times. But easier said now on the other side of the coin when I don't have to hit, but I do know that the best hitters in the game, when they're going well, they aren't thinking about getting hits. They're thinking about squaring the ball up and getting their pitch to hammer and having a clear plan of attack. And I think that's what, some of these guys are getting away from a little bit.
You mentioned earlier that hitting is contagious and that's something that this team kind of hasn't caught on yet. Are you think they're tracking the right direction, or do you still have a little bit to go before it starts catching on?
Well, I mean, it's you see flickers of it at times. We started the season great. We're swinging the bat really well against some pretty good arms. And then we've kind of hit a little bit of skid. And there's flickers of it. Like I said, there's times where it's like, okay, we're starting to string it together, and some guys are starting to feel it. And then the next day it's cold again, or 6 innings it's cold, and 1 inning we have a big inning. So I just know what the offense is capable of doing. We just haven't fired on all cylinders in a little while, and we have too many really, really good players that are scuffling a little bit. But I'm confident they'll start getting going.
Your second midweek tomorrow, 4 games over the next 5 days. What's kind of tomorrow going to look like as far as managing the pitching staff, so you can have arms for the weekend?
Yeah. Halvey's going to start tomorrow. We'll try to stretch him out a little bit. We'll do whatever we got to do to win tomorrow. So we got guys that are ready to go. We have a lot of young guys that haven't seen the mound in a while that need to get out there if we can, find the right situations, but not at the expense of us trying to get a W tomorrow. So Ben Jacobs got hot a couple times today, so we'll see how he feels tomorrow. And then Schieffer should be good to go. Matt Teeding should be good to go. Jonah Giblin needs to get back out there. So that we have plenty of guys that are capable and ready. So we'll see what the game throws at us tomorrow.
On the player accountability standpoint, something that you talked about kind of throughout the conference play starting, are there any players that are kind of stepped up, and how do you feel like that's maybe changed over the course of the last week or so?
I think some guys are starting to get a little bit more vocal, which is good. Harris Williams is starting to be a little bit more vocal, and Campy's starting to kind of get that look back in his eyes a little bit, and be a little bit. He's not one to necessarily call guys out, but just he's starting to get that look back in his eyes again. Where it's okay. Here comes Campy. He's about to start getting real hot, in my opinion. So I don't know. That there's some guys. There's flickers of that are starting to show up and rear its head. So we'll continue to press for it.